Hey guys, this video is sponsored by G2A.com. G2A.com is a website where you can find thousands of games for extremely cheap prices. Make sure to check out the link in the description for more. Hey guys, Paul with Weapons of the World here, and today I'm answering your questions from the Q&A video that I did a couple weeks ago. Right now I'm playing Pimp My Gun, which is a desktop game. You can find it online, just kind of to change up the pace. It's kind of just a relaxing game, build your own gun and whatnot. So let's go ahead and start off. Leftover Fajita asks, what would you do before deployment? What would I do? Probably just hang out, have some fun, go out in the town if I have leave, relax if I can, and just kind of be mentally prepared enough to go on to a deployment, if it's a combat deployment or if it's just an normal overseas deployment, stuff like that. So that's what I would do. Just a Bowl of Salad asks, what is it like when you have your birthday on Parris Island, and what do they do during the Marine Corps birthday on Parris Island? And he then asks if I know anything about 1st Battalion, which I don't. So first off, if your birthday falls during your time at recruit training at Parris Island or San Diego, don't mention it to anyone. Your time at Parris Island is already rough enough. If the drill instructors find out or they know your birthday and it happens to be during recruit training, prepare to get smoked. Get smoked a lot. Your time will be horrible, You're not gonna like it if they do find out, because they'll mess you up, and don't think they won't, because they will. As regards to the Marine Corps birthday, from what I've heard and from what people have told me, if you don't know, by the way, the Marine Corps birthday, which you should all know, is November 10th. 1775 is when the Marine Corps was founded, so the birthday is November 10th. During recruit training, if the Marine Corps birthday happens to come up, a drill instructor will stay with you, with your platoon in your squad bay, and probably smoke you all night, because you are the reason that that he's not out enjoying the town or enjoying himself. He's stuck with you. You're the reason that he can't go have fun, and you're the reason that he has to stay. So he's probably going to, or she is probably going to smoke you all night. You probably won't get any sleep, and it's, again, gonna suck. So birthdays, don't do it. Don't say anything about your birthday if it happens at recruit training. Don't say anything. Act like it's a completely normal day if they don't know. If they do know, you're screwed. So, oh well. Manuel Ordaz, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, I'm sorry, asks, do you have any injuries from the Marine Corps, such as hearing loss or back problems? I want to be a machine gunner and want to know if those are common. First off, I don't have any injuries from the Marine Corps yet. I'm just a poolee, so I'm waiting to ship out to recruit training, and I don't have any problems yet. In regards to being a machine gunner, I do have a friend, and I know people who are machine gunners, or were machine gunners, and when it comes to infantry, you will have back problems and knee problems because you're carrying, who do I want, a 20-inch? Yeah, let's go. You will have back problems and stuff like that, just because it's the nature of your job. You're carrying heavy loads over mountains, and especially if you're a machine gunner, you're going to have problems, to be honest, just because it's, I'm trying to decide what suppressor it is, just because it's the nature of your job. Your job as an infantryman is to carry lots of loads and fight, and so when you're humping all day, or on a ruck march or something like that, it puts a lot of strain on your back, and so you will have some problems with it, to be completely honest. Mostly back problems or knee problems. Speaking of that, I know there's a question down here. Well, I'm trying to find it. Hearing loss. Here it is. Sorry, I was looking for it. He also asked about hearing loss. On combat deployments, you probably won't be using any ear protection just because it gets in the way and is annoying to deal with. So you're probably going to have some hearing loss. However, I can't really say exactly how much just because I don't know how much hearing loss. But it shouldn't be enough to completely deafen you. You'll probably have some minor problems, especially right after. But nothing, hopefully nothing permanent, probably nothing permanent. You'll be okay. You are going to have problems with your back or your knees, more than likely. 99% of the time you will. But, you know, that's just part of the game. 321-123 asks, is it hard to be a dog handler in the Marine Corps? I have no idea. I'm not a dog handler. In my contract it says 03XX, so I'm infantry, or will be infantry. But what I can say is, A, it's probably super cool to be a dog handler just because I like dogs, and if I got to hang out with a dog all day, I'd be pretty happy. That seems like a pretty cool thing to do, so I think that's pretty dope. But every job in the Marine Corps, if you're a cook or you're an infantryman, has its ups and downs. You know, some things are going to be more difficult. You know, when it comes to cook, you might have a problem actually getting the materials and getting stuff to cook, while in infantry, your main problem is getting shot. But every job in the Marine Corps has its pros and cons, its hardships, and all that sort of stuff. So I think it'd be pretty cool. But honestly, in regards to how hard it is, I don't know. Again, every job has its pros and its cons. So I think it's pretty cool. I don't think it's extremely difficult in regards to, say, other jobs, but, you know, I can't say that. If you're a dog handler, let me know how hard it is, because I'm honestly interested. Brandon Shetler, excuse me, asked what my favorite gun to fire is, or what favorite gun I have, and what guns do I own. I'm going to go ahead and say this, that I'm not going to say exactly what guns I own, just because it's, you know, my own personal problem. I'm not going to go out and say exactly, I don't like how that looks, exactly what guns I do or do not have, just because it's my own business, and I really don't want to just say that. Oh, none of these look good. My favorite gun to fire is the one in my hand. I don't care what gun it is. If I'm shooting something, I love it. But my favorite gun that I own, probably be my Wasser 10, which is basically an AKM in 7.62x39, or my Mosin Nagant in 7.62x54R. That's probably my favorite guns to shoot or to have. So I'm trying to build right now. I'm trying to build a semi-automatic 7.62 sniper rifle based off the SR-25. It's got a suppressor and stuff like that, so that's pretty cool. Let's see, next question. Legit Boss 100 asks, what/will be the next standard issue rifle to replace the M16 / the M4 as our military main weapon for combat? Hard to say. There are good candidates out there if the military was to, say, replace the M16 or the M4. Like the HK416, I believe, is a very good candidate. That wouldn't require any retraining or any major retraining or anything like that. What it is, it's basically a M4 that still shoots the same caliber, 5.56, but it is piston driven, so it's not using this direct gas impingement, which in my opinion is better. It's also, I don't want to say lighter weight, but it is more distributed. The weight is more distributed, so it's easier to hold. And all in all, I think it's just a better gun. So that's what I would say. Either that or maybe the Steyr AUG is a good candidate. Solid weapon, really no major problems with it. It's been adopted by several countries like Austria, and I believe Australia uses their own version of it. But those were the two guns that I'd probably say have the best bet or probably our best options right now. The Steyr AUG and the 416 both shoot 5.56 and whatnot, so it wouldn't require any different manufacturing. Alright, let me put this scope on. That looks pretty cool. So next question. Jonathan Lovo wants to know, if I wanted to, would it be wise once I get into the Marine Corps to put 75% of my earnings into a savings account for a nice car when I get out, and 25% for spending money / play money or whatever? Excuse me. In regards financially, while you're in the Marine Corps, save as much money as you can. There's really nothing wrong with saving money. And the Marine Corps is the best time to do it, since you don't have to really pay for any major things like childcare or anything like that. So I'd say save as much as you can. There's nothing wrong with, spending money and having a little fun on your weekends, but don't blow your money completely, because that'd be a very dumb thing to do. So save as much as you can in both the Marine Corps and civilian life. That's my general rule of thumb. Save, 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 because you never know when you might have to use it. Maybe you have to, put your parents, maybe they can't take care of themselves anymore and you have to put them in a home, or it's just a rainy day fund. But just in general, save as much money as you can, because you never know when you might need it for something. So just save. Devin Depril asks, my thoughts on the National Guard or other reserve forces. Honestly, they're perfectly fine if that's what you want to do. My brother is in the Army National Guard. He's a combat medic. And it's great. The National Guard is great for what it is, and they definitely help people, and they've definitely, done some good stuff over in Iraq and Afghanistan where they've been deployed. But, if that's what you want to do, go for it. There's nothing wrong with reserves. And I think it's a perfectly fine option for those that want to do it. There's nothing wrong with it. In regards to reserve forces, it's the same thing. Between the National Guard and reserves, they both have their own job. They have their exact roles, and the roles that they do work very well. There's no real problems with either one. If that's what, again, it's if you want to do it, if that's what you want to do, go for it. Don't let anybody stop you. There's no problem with it. You're still a Marine, or you're still a soldier. It's just that you go on the weekends, or you go once a month, or whatever it is, and you do your job there. Not a problem. I don't see any problem. I think it's a perfectly fine option for people that want to do it. Bob BB asks, will I be judged by other Marines for dropping out of high school and joining? No, I don't think so at all. There are tens of thousands of people in the military and the Marine Corps, and they all come from different walks of life. That being said, some have dropped out from high school and have continued perfectly fine in their career in the Marine Corps, Army, whatever they're in. And then some have gone to college, become officers, stuff like that. It all depends on the person. I don't have I didn't drop out of high school. I personally wouldn't suggest it. When it comes to later on in life, if you need to get a job outside of the military, and for whatever reason you need to get a job, a high school diploma works better in that regard. It looks better than just a GED. I can't really exactly say why, but that's just how it is. So if you can avoid dropping out of school, do it. I'm not going to tell you one way or another like how that will exactly affect you, but just if you can, stay in high school. Finish it. Get your high school diploma. Don't just don't do anything stupid. You have a perfectly fine high school diploma or a perfectly fine GED. But if you can avoid dropping out of high school, just complete high school. It sucks, I know, but just get through it, and in the long run, it will play out. trying to find if there's a lower part to this Scar L. I know there, or Scar H. I guess there's not. It doesn't quite look right though. Oh well, I'm just gonna go with it. But if you can, get your high school diploma. You're not going to be looked down upon or made fun of for dropping out of high school. And for all intents and purposes, you don't have to say anything about that. You know, if you want to keep that to yourself, fine, whatever. Let's see. Hawkman Shane 35 asks my thoughts on Orlando/gun control. In regards to gun control, I believe it's a violation of our Second Amendment right, and I plan on doing a more in-depth video on what I think later on down the road. In regards to Orlando, the Orlando shooting, then I believe it's a terrorist attack and should be treated as such, and I don't like it how people are saying that it's just another mass shooting and calling for more gun control and all that bull crap. It's very clear to see that it is in fact a terrorist attack. The guy pledged allegiance to ISIS, and I don't see why people just don't understand that or whatever when he clearly said it. So it's absolutely a terrorist attack. So that's really it. That's what I think about that. It's a horrible tragedy, and I hope it doesn't happen again. But until our country, and the politicians nut up and realize that there is a problem and that it's not guns, but it's in fact the people, like ISIS and Al Qaeda and all that, then maybe they'll do something about it. And next question, Zach Yamaha R6 asks, my recruiter is not working with me with trying to pick a job. I've had 3 different ship out dates and all of them are being turned down. I'm told that they overshipped and that there are no more spots open and that they thought I wasn't joining anymore. But yet I always go to pulley functions every week and have been in the DEP for about 4 to 5 months. I ask what jobs are open and all they give me is not a lot. They never tell me what specific jobs are available. Any advice? Should I go to another recruiter? If you're in the delayed entry program and you've already enlisted and all that stuff, and signed your papers, then you can't really go to another recruiter. You've already signed up. There's really nothing you can do about that on that part. However, when it comes to your job, again, if you've already enlisted, gone to MEPS and all that sort of stuff, then you should already have your job in your contract, and you can ask to see your contract at any time. They can't not show you your contract. It's your legal obligation to see your contract. So if you're confused about that, ask to see your contract, see what's in it, which you should have already known, what it exactly says in your contract. That was kind of on you. In regards to shipping out, that happens sometimes. It just happens. Sometimes they do end up overshipping people, and that they drop some people back and push people around and whatnot in regards to their dates. So that's nothing to be kind of super worried about. But if you haven't already enlisted and you haven't signed up like your papers, you haven't signed your papers or anything like that, haven't gone to MEPS, then here's what I would do. Go online and look up every job in the Marine Corps. Just Google it, and like Wikipedia or something will pop up, and it will give you a list of every single MOS in the Marine Corps, and go down the list, look what sounds cool or what sounds interesting, pick them out, write them down, and do further investigation into those MOSs, and go from there. That's what I would absolutely suggest. Now, here's what I got a problem with. If you're already in the delayed entry program and enlisted and not just like an applicant, then then it should already say what your job title is, whether or not it's like an open contract or whatever you signed. So that's what I'm kind of confused about. Now, you should know what MOS you want before you even talk to a recruiter, or at least like have some ideas about what you want. So just go out, pick a couple MOSs, and go back and tell your recruiter, okay, this is what I want. Say like combat engineer, of course, do research into those MOSs and understand exactly what they do, and pick out one. Let's say combat engineer. Go back to your recruiter, say sergeant or staff sergeant or gunnery sergeant, whoever. Say, I want to be a combat engineer. And if you haven't already signed your papers, then when you sign your papers, it should say combat engineer in your contract. Make sure, everyone listen, make sure if you are signing your contract and you say want combat engineer, and your recruiter's like, oh yeah, it's in there, don't worry, I got it, it's in your contract, don't worry. Ask to see it. Ask to see exactly where it says combat engineer. There is nothing wrong with doing that. It is your 4 years of your life that you're signing away to be combat engineer. Make sure it's in your contract, because if it's in your contract, it doesn't mean anything unless it's in there. So if you're like at Parris Island, they're like at the end of graduation, they're telling you where you're going or what MOS or whatever, it says cook. You're like, oh, what the hell? My recruiter told me combat engineer. Hey, it's not in your contract, it don't matter. So make sure everything that your recruiter says is in your contract. But that's really all I can give to you. I don't know if you want to contact me further, you can, and give me like a little more insight as to what exactly is going on. But that's all I have for you right now. Final question. US American asks, what is your MOS? 0311X or 03XX is what's in my contract. I want to be 0311 Rifleman. What is it like room clearing with an M16, and how do you do it? I'm just knocking these questions out one at a time, guys. So he asked, what is it like room clearing with an M16, and how do you do it? When it comes to an M16, I'm assuming you mean the M16A4 standard service rifle for the Marine Corps. What you would generally do, or what you do, is if you're in your team, then what you do is you kick in the door, or go through the hole in the wall that you made with explosives, whatever. You clear your fatal front, so directly in front of you, shoot anything that's there. You clear your immediate right corner, and then sweep left, while the person right behind you, and you got to be quick. When it comes to room clearing, you got to be quick, you got to have violence of action, you got to go in one after another. You can't be, you can't pussyfoot around, do your job. If you don't, people die. So the person behind you will immediately clear their fatal front and then sweep left, clearing the left corner. That's generally how it goes, and then your team moves in and moves on, whatnot. Generally how it goes. It kind of depends on exactly what kind of room you're going into, if you happen to know that information. But when it comes to like the M16 specifically, I have seen some people clear rooms with the buttstock on their shoulder. But as to how effective that really is kind of up to them. It's maybe not as accurate, but whatever works, honestly. When it comes to firing, it's not as accurate, but it definitely shortens up the rifle a little bit and makes it a little easier to go in. But you got to use violence of action, and you got to stay in the zone, clearing your front, clearing your corners, and just move. If somebody in front of you goes down, step over them, continue on with the mission. You have to clear that room, and you have to do your job, or else more people are going to go down and more people are going to die. You got to step over and continue on. There's really, it sucks. Your buddy just got shot. You want to help him as best you can, but you have other problems to worry about. You don't want to get shot. You can't help your buddy if you're shot. So, you just got to move on for right now and give him medical aid when it's appropriate, when it's available. So that's how that works. All right. He also asks, if I was given the ability to be a recon Marine or a 75th, I'm assuming you mean 75th Ranger Battalion with the U.S. Army, which one and why? I would go recon, absolutely. They're tougher. In my opinion, it's a tougher course. It's one of the toughest, probably the second toughest course in the Marine Corps. Next to Scout Sniper course is known as being the toughest. I'm already a Marine, so hey, I got that. I got one up on the Army at that point. I'm a Marine. You got then you're you're recon, so that's even better because the recon community is extremely tough, looked up to in the military. In fact, one of my recruiters, Staff Sergeant Givens, he's a recon Marine, MARSOC and all that. The pinnacle of physical condition. I've never seen somebody in more fit shape than him, and that's something to absolutely look up to. But that's what I would do. The 75th Ranger Battalion, that's great, Rangers are cool and all that, but MARSOC's better. So, ha ha ha. But that's all the questions for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. I did not complete my SVD, but I did complete the SR-25 and the SCAR H. Just gonna leave that barrel. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe for more. Catch y'all next time.